All right, I guess we'll clocked in. Let's see if you guys make sure you guys can hear me. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of L'Esprit. I am a spiritual healer. And essentially, as a spiritual healer, what I do pretty much is that I help people to become mentally and emotionally balanced. And ultimately, the goal here is to help you to attain a higher state of consciousness, meaning, you become the enlightened one, you become the bright ones, the Christ-like, the Krishna. It goes by many different names, the Buddha. What this is all referring to is a higher state of consciousness that's, about you and your environment, mainly you, because once you seek the kingdom of God and everything else will be given to you. But anyway, you know, essentially that's what I do. Now, the whole aspect of being mentally and emotionally balanced is the idea of mind, body, and soul, meaning you would need to have those different aspects of yourself coming together. They have to be in order. They all have to become in alignment. And as you're doing so, what's happening is at this point, you are more open to receive more, let's just say, light, for lack of better terms. But light, understanding, that's where meditation comes in and all these other things, books and all these things. Ultimately, is for you to gain more light, more wisdom, more, to become more conscious. That's the name of the game. Now, going back briefly to what I mean by when I'm talking about being emotionally balanced, right? So that I'm definitely not referring to, let's just say, how most people do, like you wouldn't raise your voice, or you wouldn't use certain words. That shit that's more of a behavior shit. It's more of, you not being yourself, you faking, In fact, you may not be emotionally balanced for you to do that. Shit, I mean, I know it's not, well, you're not balanced somewhere. You know what I'm saying? There's something that, what I'm saying, that's not in accordance. But anyway, what I'm simply referring to is you understanding what your emotions are. Then now you'll be able to identify your emotional patterns. And at that point, if there's any blockages, then you'll be able to, you'll know how to remove it. And as part of the occult, that's what, sometimes they refer to when they talking about healing the wounded child, referring to acknowledging, transmuting, and understanding those early hurt, early on emotions that you actually had. Because those actually creates blockages and, it gives you a whole different perspective on life too. Then when you become toxic, or you don't express yourself, I mean, that little monster becomes a monster. Like you act a certain way. I mean, it's all part of you. So that's why it's important for you to attain your highest state of consciousness. You would have to be emotionally balanced. Now, in addition to that, I also help you to become mentally balanced. Now, that one there, I mean, it's the same underlying um, points. Or, I mean, I guess the same principles applies when it comes to you would have to understand how your mind works, right? And then you have to understand too how is your mind being conditioned. So being mentally balanced, it's becoming you got to become aware of a whole bunch of shit. I mean, isn't that part of being more conscious? So therefore, you would have to be more conscious. That's when, as you're becoming more conscious, you're becoming more conscious of your thoughts. You're becoming more conscious of your words, whatever the fuck, depending on what you're trying to do. But then you understand, and you're becoming more conscious. Is then you probably say to yourself, words are powerful, whatever the fuck it is. But the bottom line here is just to show you as you becoming more. I mean, the whole purpose of you becoming more conscious it's just having a deeper reality of your existing, of your ordinary reality. In other words, you start looking at even your mind, everything, right? Then you see beyond the veil. You don't take it for face value. But anyway, going back to, I think I'm mixing shit up a little bit. But when it comes down to being conscious, though, or pretty much knowing, when it comes down to you, because well, you're becoming conscious, knowing who you are, and that's pretty much how you'll be able to see beyond the veil. As you're delving more into your consciousness, because the point here is that you got to go deeper, you got to go beyond, and that's what the occult is dealing with. It's dealing with the pretty much. I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but the occult, pretty much, as I will be talking about spirituality, which is a part of spirituality that's dealing, with the beyond part of you, meaning the non-physical aspect of you, but that exists. For instance, some of the basic shit that the occult will teach you is that you have a conscious mind and then you have a subconscious mind. It's just below the conscious mind. So again, addressing and a non-physical aspect of yourself. But anyway, going back to being mentally balanced, you have to understand like there's so many shit you have to take into account. I mean, the act of also being conscious is to be aware. That's why I always tell people the words got to, well, not, I mean, the words got to be made flesh. But we're going to talk about all of that, what I'm saying, shortly. Um, that's why your culture plays a big part, your belief, how you were raised, because all of that is shaping your mind to see things a certain way. So essentially, that's pretty much what I do, right? Um, and that's why it's also important for you to become mentally and emotionally balanced, because at this point, that's when you become the holy man, meaning you become whole, having your emotions and your intellect coming together. That makes you the perfect man. That's the yin and the yin. That's your masculine and your feminine coming together, or yoga, however the fuck you want to call it, which is also the foundation for what we call African spirituality, which is ma'at, harmony and balance. Like in the word harmony, you could see, the physical and the non-physical going together, complementing each other. And that's your that's who you are. You have those two aspects of yourself that has to become one. And that's how you become whole. You become the perfect man. That's simply what that shit is. Now, if you're coming back, my niggas, you already know. You know what I'm saying? Come on now, niggas. You know what I'm saying? Get your shit. Come get your medicine, baby. I got it for you right here. You already know what we do, man. Love is love. You know what I'm saying? Mm, let's get it. It's good to have you motherfuckers back, man. Always a pleasure, man. So now, as part of my routine, guys, well, those of you who already know, I always talk about spirituality just before I get into the subject or the topic, whatever the fuck, right? And the reason being is spirituality is the foundation of everything that I'll be talking about here. my understanding, that's where I get my looks from. See what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's my core. That's the foundation. But now we have to understand what that is, right? So when we're talking about spirituality, it's simply your life. So what spirituality does now is talking about your life, but more on a deeper perspective. Meaning, when we're talking about, it's talking about you, your story, but not as you think it is. I mean, not necessarily as you think it is, but it's embracing everything about you, your physical aspect, your different beliefs, your everything. That's why they say the mind is all. That's the spirit everywhere. Well, with the word spirituality, it's simply telling your story. And a lot of people, unfortunately, can't really relate to it because you've been trained to look at spirituality as something that's outside of you because you don't understand your true nature. Once you start to understand your true nature, as the Kabbalion says, I mean, it says it, and I think it says it best, is that you understand that you are a living mind. When we're looking at our lives, our perspective plays a big role, man. How you were raised, the type of knowledge that you have, what I'm saying, what you know, what you don't know. I mean, you can only go as far as what you know. And that's for everybody. That's why the name of the game, you want to expand your consciousness. You want to keep growing. You want to keep becoming. You want to keep dying. So again, due to ignorance, most people sometimes when, it's almost like if I'm not talking about, let's just say, Steve Harvey right now, or, the football game. I mean, what the fuck is going on here right now? I don't know. Whatever the top topic is, right? Because you feel like you're, it's part of your life based on how you've been trained to look at yourself. And that's the biggest misconception of spirituality, obviously, because, you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. That's why you can't relate. Or now another big misconception is that people look at it as, it's just religion. But the underlying thing here, the baseline here is that it's outside of you. Even if you're looking at it as different belief systems, whatever the fuck, I mean, there's no part of your statement that relates or that shows, like, yeah, it's part of me. But you've been trained to think that way. No wonder why in our society people live based on who they should be. Oh, you've been rocked to sleep. This is not a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? And neither on me being here teaching this shit. The fuck? You know what I mean? It's not a coincidence. That's why, as you see in the title, you have to examine your belief. But, I'm jumping a little bit ahead of myself here, but you have to understand, as it says in the title, that you become what you believe and you create your reality based on what you believe. And I tell you guys this all the time. I mean, it's just that this time I'm trying to look at it from a different angle. But ultimately, like I always tell people this, let's just say right now, and this is just to dumb it down, right? If I decide to become a Seventh-day Adventist right here, right now, my reality changes. My Saturday is going to have a different meaning. Or depending on what job that I was working, maybe certain jobs, well, that is me creating my own reality out of my belief. Now, you may feel like it's outside of you. I get it. Feel the same too. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing you cannot deny, though, is that it's your participation in it. You see, we are always creating. I mean, whether you know it or not. But anyway, I'm kind of getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but I want you to keep that in mind. You are the creator of your life, whether you're conscious of it or not. All we're doing over here is making you a better creator, a better version of yourself by you realizing who you are. But most importantly, that's why you're going to have to examine your actual beliefs because there's a whole bunch of shit. It's so complex the way, the core of our belief system. But anyway, just to summarize pretty much about spirituality, it's your story, it's your life, and it's being said in many different ways, through different religions, whatever the fuck. So now in spirituality, we have something called the occult. Now, what the occult is dealing with, those are probably those sacred texts, the Kemet, the fucking Kabbalions, Kabbalah, Sufi, all of those sacred texts, Gnostics, or different schools, understanding the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, what else? Hinduism, you name it. Those different school systems, pretty much that's what the occult is. Because what the occult is dealing with at this point is it has those sacred texts. Pretty much the understanding of them is just to give you a better understanding of your ordinary life. That's why the Indian call this world Maya, which means illusion. Just like when I was talking about earlier, some of the basic shit that the occult will tell you is that you have a conscious mind, you have a subconscious mind. But yet again, we all understand in the occult, your subconscious mind is really your conscious mind because your subconscious mind, captures things that your conscious mind do not even capture. So which one is more conscious? So in reality, now if you want to take it a step further, your subconscious mind is truly your conscious mind. So what you're calling your conscious mind at this point is just something, it's directive. And that's the relationship you need to have with your subconscious mind as well. But anyway, that would be for a whole different conversation. All I'm trying to say in this is that the occult is dealing with pretty much a non physical aspect of yourself. That's why they call it a hidden culture, but not hidden in a sense, it's being kept away from you, but you got to look into it. You got to look for it. It's not on the surface. So therefore, you got to look for it. So the whole idea of looking beyond the veil, it's that's why that's what we say in the occult too, meaning having a deeper understanding of your ordinary reality. Why? Because your ordinary reality is not what it appears to be. That's why we could have electricity. Like we are surrounded in a fucking electromagnetic field. Is that air you breathing? Is air even just air itself? Could it be, I don't know, but we call it air, the breeze, you feel it. Could it be all fucking energy though? And that's what the occult now, that is the understanding that the occult is giving you by looking at these things, you know, on the surface and it giving you the deeper, the baseline understanding of what those shits are. That's why, as you learn about the occult, you having a better understanding of your true nature. That's how you're being set free from matter. Because now at this point, you understand you are more than just your dick and pussy. Come on now, niggas. That's pretty much what it is. You know what I'm saying? But now, when you understand that, then anything else that we'll be talking about now, it relates to you having a greater consciousness, no understanding, having a better understanding of who you are. So now, as part of the occult, we also understand, and you know it too. Your mind is powerful. Be aware of what you're saying, whatever the fuck. All of that is telling you there is more to you than what you appear to be. And that's what make this world a fucking world of illusion. Not that it doesn't exist, or not that it's fake. It does exist because our mind makes it real. Your mind make it real. Like, what the fuck do you mean? You know what I'm saying? Hold on just a second here. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get my blessings real quick. You feel me? Let me pour a little something, something for my peeps. You already know, as always. Or maybe this is a good time too, man. I want to thank all my fucking ancestors. They already know, man. Love is love. Mm. Anyway, and we're just gonna leave that there. I had so much to say on that. Oh, I love these motherfuckers. They love me too much. These niggas, the love is just shit. I don't, you know what I'm saying? They definitely got me shy. They make me feel shy. Like, come on, man. I'm a grown ass man. I'm saying they still kissing me. I'll be like this, man. Leave me alone, man. But anyway, oh shit, nigga, you wildin'. So now, just to summarize, spirituality is just you, dog. Now that we know exactly what spirituality is, I mean, I wouldn't say exactly, but or at the same time, I'll probably say it. I mean, if you get the gist. But um, now, like I always tell people, spirituality, your spirituality is your humanity, and your humanity is your spirituality because your spirituality now, it's the underlying thing that goes along with your humanity. That's your mind and your body, right? So, but your growth, you know what I'm saying, for you to materialize your divinity, it has to take place here. In other words, I mean, I mean, that kind of go like, I mean, without saying. But anyway, I'm saying all of that to say because this is where I'm really heading with this, right? Because now we're going to delve into what we came here to talk about, which is you become what you believe. See, I've been telling you guys about mythology and how it conditioned your life. Your our system, we are so like even let's just say your God, your understanding of your God It's the reality that you create. It's the reality that you live in. Because your understanding of your God is a core, your thoughts, it's a core belief of you. You know what I'm saying? And there's a certain, it's when you talk about energy, you're talking about your own thoughts. That's why they say to change your life, you got to change your thoughts, right? Because they understand, there's a set of action that comes with certain thoughts. That's why you want to have thoughts that's serving your purpose. Why would I have an idea or a thought or a certain type of understanding that's not helping me? And that's where you have to grow. Now, if this thought or this understanding is no longer serving you, well, you have to adopt a new one. But all of that has to do with you being able to identify your core belief, though. Because when it comes to your core belief, it pretty much comes down to two things. Your belief is going to stem from either a self worth or a lack of. Another way of saying that is to say your actions or your thoughts or your belief is going to derive from either love or fear. Let's just say if you're dealing with money, you have a poor mentality. Well, there's a certain behavior that you're going to have because of your perception of money that could be very limited. It prompts you now to act a certain way. You're creating a reality that is based out of that core belief. And again, that shit is very complex because your core belief comes from pretty much different type of sources. Your parents, school, society, church. It's that's where as part of you becoming conscious too. And early on, I was referring to being mentally balanced. These are some of the things that you have to take into account. You have to question, you have to understand, and you have to analyze. To become, to attain the Christ consciousness, that's why this is for the devoted ones. You have to be devoted to yourself. That's how you surrender to God. You have to surrender to yourself. Oh, this is a full time job and an internal affair. It's a full time internal affair type of thing, you know? So when we're talking about self worth, I mean, a lot of people sometimes, like, you know, sometimes based on the words that you use or the belief that you have or your acceptance or your understanding of what God is, then you become that. If your God is a God of jealousy, your God is jealous and envious, I mean, shit. Well, let's just say, I can't really think of anything else right now. Let me say, or if your God, let's just say, it's in heaven. So therefore, your connection with God, I mean, how would you, if you're disconnected from God, God is in I mean, in the fucking heaven or someplace that is separate from you. How do you relate to Him? You don't even have access to God. the scarcity of your God. You know what I'm saying? You got to be deserving for everything. You don't worth shit. You don't mean shit. No, what's gonna be your behavior in life? It's gonna be the same, and that's what you call humility. That's crazy. Well, I mean, that's what you call it, and somehow you feel good by trashing yourself or by knowing you mean shit. You have no values. You have no nothing. Like God just somehow by you know what I'm saying mercy because you don't deserve it. I mean, I don't think you have such a, let's just say, a high self esteem for yourself because that's how you see your God. You see what I'm trying to tell you? But on the flip side of that, and no, not just that, that type of belief and understanding of God is based out of fucking judgment. You know, it's a jealous God, everything, you know what I'm saying? You got to be deserving. Your God is based out of fear. That's why you always say having the fear of God. Then you got to act a certain way. Because if you don't, you know what's going to happen. And a God of punishment. So that makes you a victim. You victimize yourself pretty much by looking, having that God perspective. Whereas for me, my God is everywhere, including in me. So that makes me more receptive. Here's something else too. If you're saying the Bible's the only book, your God has only one book. There's no other gods. There's nothing else. Well, guess what? You'll never accept my God. Your God is gonna be. Whereas me saying my God is everywhere, I don't have an issue with your God. Do you see the perspective and the behavior and my belief in my God? And guess what? If your God is envious and jealous, you're gonna become that. Then that's how you're gonna treat your kids too. Punishment. You have a punishment system, a fear-based system. But all of that derives from, it's one book, it's one God, it's all of that. Then every other religion, like, what the fuck? My nigga. It's the youngest religion. Got the, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. But for a lot of you too, that's why you got to go by faith. You don't listen to anybody else. You got to be, you know what I'm saying? So therefore, that's the only thing you need, and that's what you're going to go by. But they already, that was also the narrative that was given to you. You're just displaying that now. You're becoming that. See, that's why too, like you'll see, especially in Christianity, these people aren't really transforming. They talk about living a good life or talk about heaven, just like heaven is outside of them. How can you live it if it's outside of you? And you showing it too in your behavior and everything that you fucking do. Y'all gotta wake up, niggas. You know what I'm saying? But for me, because my God is greater, it's not just in the book, it's everywhere in nature. So it makes me more receptive, more open to other people. That's why I always tell people everybody's doing God's work. It's being done on different levels. There's different levels. If you go on YouTube right now, there's a motherfuckers that's gonna teach you how to fucking, I don't know, change tire, change a brake. This is all sharing, giving knowledge. It's different levels, but everybody's helping everybody. We are one. This is a community. You see what I'm saying? I know for me, if I don't right now, if I just got something new, I just go on YouTube and type that shit in, man, review or whatever. And so far, I mean, I may not have tons of video on it, but there's gonna be a motherfucker talking about it. I'm saying that to say, like, what I'm saying? How do you, I mean, even, then you become one-sided. How can one book is everything? Then your perspective is gonna be one-sided. Meaning you're not gonna have the best ideas, my nigga. You're not gonna have the best perspective neither. Because it's one-sided. Again, this is all your fucking life. This is your life. This is the life you're living in right now. The fuck? So when I see people, if you don't even mention spirituality, or maybe you feel like, I mean, it's out of fucking ignorance, man. You don't know who you are. You don't even know your true nature. Shit, you don't even understand what's around you. You don't even know your fucking surroundings, man. So again, now this is also to show you the complexity in us. Now, if you can grasp this, then you'll see you are the creator, baby. And that's what it comes down to. When you know who you are, listen, man, come on. You know what I'm saying? That's when now you're like, oh, okay, it's all good, baby. I got this. But to get there, that's when, just like I was talking about, even what we're talking about now, understanding your understanding of God as it is within, so it is without. And then if you look at God too, let's just say as a man, having men, what I'm saying, like you're gonna have a men relationship with God, man. You already know. When daddy's home, you gotta behave a certain way. Do you see what I'm saying? It's reflecting your life, whether you're conscious or not. That's why I always tell people, like, it doesn't matter if you're atheist or not, motherfucker. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. In fact, even that thought in itself, it stems from your environment. You know what I'm saying? So, again, so for me, my God is different. You know what I'm saying? So by me seeing God everywhere, It allows me to see God in you too. It allows me to see God in me. So if I see God in you, then there and I see God in me, there's a certain admiration and respect that I will have for you. That's why the motherfucking Buddhists, whatever these niggas, namaste. They don't say it only to conscious people. Nah, these niggas when they walking out, because I was watching this documentary. You know what I'm saying? They go through the town, everybody that's on their path, and namaste, because they're trying to let you know, nigga, I see you. You may not acknowledge who you are. I know who you are because I know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, God is love. Well, guess how my behavior is gonna be like. How you know what I'm saying? It's not punishment, it's understanding. So within my life, it is being manifested that way. So I guess in so many words, I'm also saying, even in Christianity, I always say, you know what, now I'm gonna have to take this back. Because I always used to say the word's gotta be made flesh. Guess what? It is being made flesh. Because now, even though you talking about Jesus, it's not applied in your life, but it's designed for you for it not to be part of your life. That's why you're talking about it. Do you see what I'm saying? So the word is always been made flesh. But I guess what I was trying to say was with the new understanding, it has now to become your new behavior. If you're being born again, well, that again means now a new behavior, a new ways of looking at things, a new sheriff in town, a new God, nigga. And that's what most people do. Because I see some people too. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say you are into spirituality. Because I've been seeing this shit too. These niggas are wild, and then now they turn into Christianity. And then I always and shit. I go so far to listen. Okay, I mean, there's got to be something. Let me go ahead and listen. It's never nothing. Like it's. I'm always like, damn. They were so convincing for clickbaits, but when you go and listen to what they got to say, some of them were saying they came from witchcraft now into Christianity, and then even their definition of what evil is. I'm like, I don't know. Am I missing something here? What was the transformation? I could tell you, let's just say, if I were into Christianity with a limited perspective of what Jesus is, now that I have a greater perspective, now meaning now it is part of my life. Act, live, think, breathe, shit that way. I could tell you the difference. When I go there try to listen what the difference is, these niggas is always like, that's what I used to do. That's what it's bullshit. You see what I'm saying? But I get it. This could be part of their transformation. Who knows? But as me understanding, that's why, all the ascended masters, that's why we understand God is everywhere, meaning we embrace different wisdom. I could learn about Mayat, could learn about Buddhism, I could learn about, why not? They're all saying the same thing in different perspective. And there's always something that I know for me, do you see what I'm saying? Like when in the Gita, the back of the Gita, they talking about the actual devoted ones. I love that term better. Because in reality, that's what we're doing when you, let's just say you're calling us the enlightened ones. But that's who we are. The actual devoted ones. We are devoted to ourselves, to this work, to us, to God. And there's always been a misconception too, and that's when I realized even people have issues understanding the difference between self-love and selfish. When you love yourself, you don't put yourself above somebody else. That's not true. That's not what people who love themselves do. When you love yourself, you love those divine qualities in you. And as a result, that's why you got to love yourself when you love somebody else. Guess what happens? Because now I know quality in me. When I'm talking to somebody else, I don't give a fuck about your money. What is your quality, nigga? Because I'm a quality person. What kind of quality do you have? What are we talking about? What do you stand for? But all of that stems pretty much from me looking at myself from a deeper perspective or loving myself, meaning those qualities about me, those inherent qualities about me, my integrity, shit like that. So now that's what I look for because I find that in myself. Just like your belief of God, that's what you become. When I love the self, it makes me lovable. It's not the other way around. Now, when you're talking about selfishness, this is someone who's concerned. Yes, they're doing it for themselves, but they're only dealing with the external part of it. I just want to get this money for me. Like, I don't give a fuck who you is, who you not, nigga. You got money? You see, that's that type of behavior. What's your status? Again, I'm trying to show you too your core belief because you're looking at somebody else based on who they should be, or you're not looking for quality in people. Then now what your concern is, I mean, shit, how much money you got? What's your car? What do you do? So now, because you neglected the self, then now you acting based on what that is. Yo, there's no secret in Coca-Cola, my nigga. It's chemical in fucking water. Sugar and all that shit. So again, but when you're selfish, you're not dealing with your inner qualities. You dealing strictly with the external benefits. And guess what? You'll step on anybody's toes, dog. It's a jungle. You worshiping idols. You keeping up with the Joneses. That's what makes you. Mm. You falling for the okey doke, my nigga. Yep. That's why you'll never be happy. That's what the illusion is. Now you're chasing your own tail. You thinking this is gonna make you happy, then you follow it. Then when you get it, it doesn't. It's not. You know what I'm saying? And you got to keep going. You're never satisfied. That's why they tell you if you're not happy with little, you're not gonna be happy with a whole lot. Because the problem is in your beliefs, man. It's how you're looking at it. So what you believe, if it's that's who you become, and that's the baseline knowledge that most of us, let's just say in America, that society, that's what you're living by. You know what I'm saying? That's why a certain designer clothes, you know what I'm saying, make you feel a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, like it's just designer clothes, man. Do you understand what a designer clothes is? It's design. So therefore, and here's the funny shit too. And I always do that shit on purpose when motherfuckers are talking about Versace and all that shit. Yo, okay, so what's the difference? Gucci and Versace is not the same cut. They cut different. That's what makes it an art, a designing art. You see, motherfuckers are just, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm a quality nigga. You know what I'm saying? Find your beauty, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I may do the same thing with you, but I'm in a whole different level with it. Yo, rich people are buying arts, man. Do you understand that? Niggas are talking about painting. That's what niggas are talking about now in life. I give you guys the science already, man. Go to Home Goods, motherfucker. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Yo, the thing about luxury, man, it has nothing to do with money, but quality and beauty. That's what you're dealing with. So now, I mean, it's obvious. I mean, I hope by now, you kind of get the idea of how important your beliefs are. And most importantly, I mean, where is your belief stem from? Is it from a lack of worth in yourself or maybe fear? Or is it coming from you being worthy? Love. You know what I'm saying? Because if we're saying God is love, man, I ain't got a shit. Why are you talking about punishment? I mean, there is such a thing as karma, though. You know what I'm saying? But at that point, it's not even God. It's more like, hey, man, you did it to yourself. You know what I'm saying? So treat yourself better. You know what I'm saying? That's all karma is. Karma is working for you. Karma is there to help you. But the more you don't listen, hey, guess what? Karma's there to realign you. She's not a bitch. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's based out of your perspective. You know what I'm saying? If how do you look at your problem? Are they there to elevate you? Is it an opportunity for you to grow, or is it gonna hold you down? Or you're gonna have victimized? And people, and here's the thing that I noticed too: people who have that victimized idea, they're the most wicked ones. They always do shit and try to act like they're a fucking victim. I don't get it. If you're a victim, why did you do shit? You understand what I'm saying? That's like a motherfucking forging signature doing criminal shit and then acting like, oh my God, what the fuck? What the fuck do you think was gonna happen? I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Then now they're acting like the victim, like they didn't have a choice. You have multiple choices. That's what you chose to do. The money was looking good. The money got you, my nigga. You not sorry, nigga. You sorry it didn't work. Listen, man, every bottle has its own lid. That's how we say it in Haiti, man. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what kind of bottles you got, there's a lid for it, man. Everybody, man, got their own lids, nigga. You know what I mean? You may think whatever the fuck you think, nigga. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is your stop, nigga. You're not gonna get off the next exit, nigga. It's your stop, motherfucker. It's stopping right here, nigga. Your judgment day, man. That's how it goes. Hmm. Yes, sir. Now going back to you know, your belief, your core beliefs in God, right? And ultimately, it's gonna come down to either love or fear or worth or lack of. And that's how you are creating your reality. You are becoming. I mean, because before I used to say, well, I mean, you're doing it. It's not a mistake. Like you're already doing it. So now, what you're doing, if you're listening to me, is it's changing what you were doing. Dr. Lila Africa says it best, and I remember that was the first guy that I learned that from. He used to say it's hard to be stupid, man. You have to practice being stupid. At that time, I never used to look at it that way because every day it's either you getting yourself smarter. I don't know what kind of action you're doing. Either if you're conscious or non-conscious, that's what it comes down to. So you are already creating. You are already manifesting. And that's what I tell people. Now, when they looking to manifest new shit and still operating from the old system, you know what I'm saying? That's why you don't put like Jesus was saying, you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna have new wine, you put it in old bottle. The residue of the old wine, I mean, it doesn't make sense. That's why true change too. You completely gotta die, meaning you gotta unroot whatever the fuck that core belief is. And that's a big part of what your shadows work is, entails pretty much you delving into yourself. Oh, you gotta go in. That's why, and for you to go in, what that is you having a better understanding of your environment. You got to become more conscious of it. Then you aware of how you being trained to think. A lot of us don't even think that way. So that's how far that should tell you that you pretty much are. Like if you're not even thinking how you're being trained to think, you know what I'm saying? It's like I always tell people, like if you can't tell me how stupid you used to be, ooh, you're still stupid. That's why I don't fuck with niggas who got no testimony, dog. If you ain't got no story, you mean to tell me you perfect, nigga? I mean, part of my perfection too is going through that. That's how you get better. But perfection, I'm saying, in terms of being flawless, you didn't have to learn anything. That's mean you didn't even try. Who was saying that shit? I think was it Denzel? Like, if you have not failed, you didn't even try, man. You have no failures. Now, in my case, you, you tried, but you know what I'm saying. You keep fucking yourself up. That's why, like, it's happening as we speak. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, just like they say, we learn life backward, but life should be lived forward, though. So it's it's you have to catch up. You gotta catch up, baby. I know for me, life was happening. Then I'm catching up. You're becoming more conscious. Then now you become a whole creator. That's where you need to go. That's where I'm at with it now. You know what I'm saying? But listen, man, had to catch up because it's still going, it's still flowing, and you're still creating. At one point, what's taking place. Now, even if you become born again, meaning now you have shift your consciousness, guess what? Just like a baby, you're gonna have to learn how to crawl. You're doing everything back again. That's how you're gonna become the enlightened one. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta go through your rites of passage, baby. So now, I mean, I don't think there's anything else that's left to be said. On that topic in terms of you become what you believe, man. But most importantly, I mean, what you believe, your God, and everything. So, the bottom line here is you. I mean, is that humble enough? I don't know. Is that humble enough? Is that humility? Hmm? The fuck? I think I got run the nose and shit. Is that humble enough? You know what I'm saying? To say that I'm better than everybody else, that's not what self love is. I think a lot of us, we get the shit all fucked up. And when we talk, even talking about being humble doesn't mean like, I'll give you a perfect example. You know what you're worth. But now, I don't, let's just say, if you work at McDonald's, right? You work at McDonald's and I work at, I don't know, whatever the fuck. I have an office job. You work at McDonald's. Being humble means, okay, I don't think I'm better than you because, or not necessarily thinking that I'm better than you. I don't put my accomplishment above you. You understand what I'm saying? Look that shit up. That's exactly what it means, man. You don't put your accomplishment above somebody else. That doesn't mean you don't value yourself. It doesn't mean you don't know your worth, you know. But it simply means, you know, yeah. That's what it means, baby. So now, because I'm trying to touch on it on different angles, so that you somehow realize, no matter how, if you want to play victim, and that's what they use too. And I talk about that. I talked about mythology because when spirit took me back to mythology, I had started looking at it from a whole different perspective. And that's why I always tell people our ancestors, we use knowledge to liberate ourselves, but knowledge can also fuck you up, obviously. Because with the type of knowledge that makes you see God as being outside of yourself, as you being undeserving. So meaning, what I'm saying, there's authority, there's God, what I'm saying, it's what I'm saying, there's a chain of event that it comes with. And that's what you apply in your life. That's what you become. So in other words, when we look at when you, in other words, when you look at Christianity is doing what it's supposed to do. That's why they got to spread the word. Whether you're conscious or not, it's doing what it's supposed to do, which is for you to behave like you behave and for you to think, I mean, shit. Is it not in your manual, in your instruction, that your God is the best God, is the only God? So you acting that way, I already know. You know what I'm saying? That's you under your spell, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how sensitive you might be about it, but again, how is it serving you? You see what I'm saying? That's why I always tell people too. You'll see that, and that was my first thing because I remember even the Adam and Eve story, the creation tale. When you start growing spiritually, you're gonna look at that story different. Then the serpent is gonna mean something else to you, but it all based on your level of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna look at everything from a different perspective. But all of it has to do with how, what I'm saying, with your belief, how you're looking at your perspective. And you're creating that reality, you're creating that understanding, and then that's gonna create an action. That's what the matrix is. What do you think the matrix is? Niggas always talking about this world is how the fuck who was I listening to that was talking some shit? Anyway, it's almost like the Matrix. We only look at it as this world, right? But this world is Maya, and it's not what it looks like. But the Matrix is different. It's the life that you create. You're saying this is what this life is, and now that's how we create the fucking Matrix. I mean, I don't know. I have a different understanding of it. So when you have a world now, you know what I'm saying, that is based on your fucking accomplishments, you gotta hold a certain title, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. That's the matrix. Well, I guess that could be the reason why you're saying this world. But what I was saying when I was talking about this world in terms of not what it appears to be. Because when you understand that, in other words, that's what they were talking about when they talk about the matrix, right? You know what I'm saying? It's the world, the true world, lack of better terms. Which is meaning it's not, what you think it is. That's why this nigga was showing the battery. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what year it is, which is actually true. The calendar was changed, right? So that's why they have before Christ, after Christ. So that's why this time is a fucking illusion. The idea of time being linear, like you're thinking there's some sort of evolution that's taking place, you out of your fucking mind. They training you to think that way. But in reality, it's still the same shit. You think a cat or a dog's gonna be like, oh, 2023? You think, you think, you know what I'm saying? Nah, man, that's just the number that we put to this shit. And guess what? They're gonna build fucking flying cars. Yeah, they're building Wi-Fi. You got Wi-Fi now, nigga. So now you feel like, you know what I'm saying? That's the biggest misconception too. Because with this limited perspective, that's how we're judging the ancient. These niggas were on a whole different levels. You know what I'm saying? That's why I see niggas be saying these niggas have spears, they couldn't be smart. Like, really? This niggas, all they had was fucking nature. They had time to reflect. They had less distraction than you. How the fuck are you better than them? I don't know, man. Y'all wildin'. Either I'm wildin', one of us is, nigga. I don't get it. If you just try to remove a few distraction out of your life and you'll see, you know what I'm saying? Like in terms of memories or whatever the fuck, inspiration and all that shit, nigga. And then these niggas, that's all they had. You know what I'm saying? You got YouTube, you got bitches, you got all that shit, you got clubs, you got all that shit, nigga. And then you better than these niggas. You make it make sense. And I even use that fucking example myself. You know what I'm saying? As far as I'm concerned, right? I'm 42 years old, right? Like being born in Haiti, like when I was 13, 12, 14, man, like I used to, I mean, shit, nigga, I probably had the ability to remember like fucking, I don't know, 20 telephone numbers. You know what I'm saying? I probably had to write that shit down once and then all right, bam, bet. So you know, okay, this is so and so. And that's how you have to recognize niggas calling too. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at the color ID and shit. Who the fuck is calling? If you don't remember the number, you know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is the memory that I had then, there was no Bluetooth, none of that shit. And then now we have this shit now. It's not the same, dog. So when you're talking about that evolution, it's really like in terms of your skill, your memory it's not even at its best. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not sure if kids nowadays are studying like the addition tables, subtraction, and I mean I'm not sure, but you know with a calculator now, come on man, if you're losing less of your memory, you're gonna retain less. Hey, listen, man, it's by forging you become a fucking like a blacksmith, nigga. The more you do it, the better you get at it. Now, a lot of our skills are becoming dormant. You technically falling asleep. If it's not useful, if you don't use it, how useful is it? So again, to me, when I'm talking about the matrix, that's what you know what I'm saying with that world, this adaptation, because that's really what it is. It's more products, man. With technology, you know what I'm saying, nanotechnology, whatever the fuck is, then you're gonna feel like, yo, because yo, I was watching this thing and there was this guy flying on this thing. And then there was a comment underneath that shit that said, "The future is here." How do you know that's the future? You see it you see it in movies, nigga. You're just recycling that shit. You see that shit all day. That's part of me becoming conscious too, though. That's why I gotta take into consideration what what my mind. I mean, I have to interact. That's why I gotta be more aware of what's around me. How do you know? Well, you already know because they already put it out there. And that's how mind control works in movies, nigga. They introduce the shit to you just so not, I mean, they are, I mean, for you to accept it. The introduction was more, yeah, of introducing, of pushing it into your mind. Now, when you see it, oh, you already see it in your mind. I mean, shit. That's how it works. See, that's what these motherfuckers understand. And that's the true power of mythology, my nigga. I already talk about that. Y'all gotta check it out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got a few work for you niggas. I'm trying to give you the best of me, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, I think we could definitely, you know, ultimately, let's just summarize it to this. You become what you believe, right? So we got to work backward here, depending on how you're doing the work. That's why it is somehow, you got to have those aha moments, or, I mean, because, how can I say this? You have to question your beliefs and try to get to the core of it. Or guess what, niggas? That's your shadow work too. And understand pretty much what's that going to help you with is understanding why you're acting a certain way. And then you understand people that act a certain way. Well, I mean, shit, there's no fucking coincidence. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna plant mango, you're gonna get fucking bananas, though. That's not the way it works. Or fucking pineapple. Doesn't work that way. So then the whole idea is as you're becoming more conscious that for you now to become the great farmer, then now you become aware of what you're planting and you know what to expect. See, the whole idea of becoming conscious or becoming godlike is just having a better understanding of your true nature. Because your nature in itself, you are more than dick and pussy, flesh and bones. That's why even let's just say you're not into spirituality. Well, nigga, after you eat and shit, whatever the fuck, I mean, shit, you probably need to go watch a movie, entertainment. What do you think is taking place? This is all aspect of you. What I'm saying is there's a whole lot more. Believe it or not. And this is just to show you the little bit more because obviously, I mean, that's why people go out to eat. You know what I'm saying? You go out, do so many different things. I mean, it's all you like, even walking by the beach or walking in the fucking park. This is all. You feeding yourself. Depend, you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to judge. Some of them could be a little more beneficial than others, depending on what you're looking for. But if you're a master too, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I could go in the mountain, I could go to the club, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I understand the differences, but I also know what I'm talking about too, depending on where you at with it. Because you know how sometimes people trying to, again, categorize us. When you see the masters, where do you see these niggas on top of mountains and shit? But that mountain is also a representation of something. Just like when we call each other kings, you have to master your kingdom. That's you sitting in your throne. So when you sit on top of the mountain, that's what you. But anyway, I'm saying all that to say, niggas, listen. All right, all right, all right. I was being too deep for a second, nigga. There's more to you, obviously, than just dick and pussy. And I'm trying to show you even. Let's just say you remove spirituality, then there's certain things that's called entertainment. Then you have vacation. What do you think you're doing when you go on a vacation? There's another part of you, you know what I'm saying, that you're feeding nature, the service, whatever the fuck. I'm saying that all of these things are contributing. It's your food. You're being you're feeding off of all of that. That's why you are literally your environment. You know what I'm saying? Because you feed into it. So when you understand that you God, you fucking cosmic, this is you now relating more with your environment. This is now when you're looking at fucking, let's just say, a tree, then you see more than just a fucking tree. That's all that shit is. That's why our ancestors would worship nature because we understood the same principles that goes in nature. Nature, there's intelligence in nature, and that intelligence applies in our lives. But these are our brothers because we identify what's underneath us. That I mean, the thing beyond nature that is part of us. That's why you'll see in all of our mythology, especially in African spirituality, the sun, my brother, all that shit. Oh, it's being said that way on purpose for you to make nature part of your environment. But most importantly, it is. Anything you come in contact with is part of you. Let's just stick to that. I mean, I just don't want to confuse you motherfuckers too much, but I hope you can see, what you believe is what you become, and we're gonna leave it there. Haitien, wow, Mali.